Hi, so have you ever been creating a document and then you add an image to it and you want to refer to that image later on in the text? You could either just tell them, refer to the image above like a basic person, or you can actually cross-reference a link to that image so when they click that link, they go directly to the image. I'm going to show you how to do that and 4 other tips to make your documents as easy to access as possible and easy to navigate through. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you is how to add a table of contents. Okay, so a table of contents is very much depends on how long your document is. If your document is extremely long, then you definitely need one. If your document is very short, then you can get away with doing what I do in this document, which is just add links to the different sections, and they're sort of hyperlinks. So when I click design concept, I go right there, and so on and so forth. Okay, so but to add a table of contents, you first need to begin by using the second concept that I want to talk about, which is using headings. So headings allow you to sort of tell Microsoft Word that you are in this particular section. Treat this as a heading, treat this as a title, treat this as a big heading, as a smaller heading, and so on and so forth. And it's really easy to do them. So let me show you how to do it. So to create a heading, so for example, the heading that I have here is understanding context. And so once you type it out, all you have to do is select it, and then when you go to the home bar up here, you select heading 1. So the headings are categorized by size. Heading 1 is the biggest heading, heading 2 is smaller than heading 1, heading 3 is smaller than heading 2, and so on and so forth, okay? So if you want to add subheadings, then you just use heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, and so on and so forth, okay? So with every additional section, choose the right visual, you would come, select that, and you would add your heading by going to heading 1 again, like that, okay? So obviously, heading 1 should apply to all the main headings within the title, and then heading 2 or the subheading refers to a smaller heading within the bigger topic, okay? But so once you've added headings to all your different sections, as you can see, I have design concepts here, summary article, and books. So all these are heading 1s. Once you've done that and you've added all the headings to your document, all you have to do is go inside references in Word, and then you go to table of contents. And so you first of all have to click within the document where you want your table of contents to go. So if I want to put it here, what I do is I click there, I go to table of contents, then you select whatever way you want it to look. You can also customize the table of contents, but I'm just going to click this one at the top just to show you. And there you have it. It is created automatically, and automatically you're able to click this here, and it's able to take you to the different sections. So having a table of contents allows the readers of your document and you yourself to navigate through the document really quickly. All right, so the second thing I want to talk about is adding tables and figures, okay? So every now and then you add a figure or a table to your document because you're trying to display some sort of information. So for example, in this case, I have a graph showing gender at some event, okay? And so usually what you have to do once you add an image like this is you have to add some sort of caption that tells Microsoft Word that this is a figure or this is a table. To do that, you go back to references and then you click insert caption. Okay, now when you insert caption, usually Microsoft Word is smart enough to recognize whatever your selection is, either a figure or a table, but you can definitely change the label here to table or figure. This might look different on a PC. I'm using a Mac right now, but the general locations are really the same, and the words are similar as well, okay? So this is the point whereby, and usually Microsoft Word also automatically numbers the figures. So your first figure will be called figure 1, and your second figure will be called figure 2, and so on and so forth. Same applies to your tables, okay? So this is when you can give figure 1 a name. So in this case, I gave figure 1 a name saying graph showing gender vibes, which I put here. And I'm just going to delete this and redo it so you can see how I do it. So I click that, I go to insert caption, and then I type graph showing gender vibes. Okay, I make sure it's a figure, yes, everything, and the position. So figures are usually put below the figure, and table names are usually put above the table. That's just what usually happens in the industry. At least that's what we do in research. But you can really put it wherever you want. It's really up to you. But yes, so after you check all these and make sure they're correct, you just click OK. And as you can see, Microsoft Word will add the figure name to the image immediately. So now what I usually like to do at this point is just clear some of the formatting and make sure that the font matches the font in the rest of my document. And there we have it, okay? So, and now when you add multiple figures and multiple tables to your document, eventually you can also add those documents to your table of contents, okay? And to do that, you would just go inside the table of contents, click there, go to references, and then you would add insert table of figures, okay? And what that would do is that would just add a bunch of the figures and the tables to your table of contents so that you can find them easily. So all you would have to do is really just pick a style and then click OK, okay? But in this case, I do not want to, okay, let me just do it. So this will add the figure right there, okay? And again, Microsoft Word is very good at recognizing where these different things are in the document, okay? So once you're done with that, but now that you have a bunch of figures and tables in your document, usually what ends up happening is that you want to refer to these images and figures while you are doing your work, okay? So, for example, I just wrote something down here where you say check the figure above, and what that does is that allows me to click above and it's supposed to take me to where the figure is, okay? So let me show you how to add what we call a cross-reference that allows you to cite or draw attention to a specific image or table that you're referring to in your document, okay? So to do that, I'm going to start doing this from scratch, okay? So I'm going to say check the figure above, and so what I want to cross-reference is this word above. I want to add some sort of hyperlink to it, and when you click it, it takes you directly to the figure, okay? So to do that, I click above, I go to references again, and then I go to cross-reference, okay? And then it asks me for reference type, so it can be a figure or a table or whatever it is, or even a heading. You can cross-reference anything in your document that is well defined as either a heading, a bookmark, a footnote, an equation, a figure, a table, whatever it is. As long as it's defined, then you can refer to it. Okay, but in this case, it's a figure, so I'm going to leave that. So then it asks me insert reference to entire caption, and what I'm going to do is just above or below. Okay, and above or below just tells me Microsoft Word sort of recognizes whether the image is above or below the text that I'm typing. Okay, so then I make sure that insert as hyperlink is checked, and I click the figure in this box that says for which caption to make sure that it actually recognizes that specific figure. Then I click insert, and after I click insert, I can close, and now it doesn't change the color of the text, unfortunately, but if I hover there, you see it turns into a sort of pointer finger, which tells you that if I click it, it takes me right to the image, okay? So what I usually do is, just to make it accessible on my own, is that I change it to a color that's similar to a sort of link font. So I make it blue like that, just so you know that when you click it, you can come up here, because otherwise, if it's plain text, then you have no idea that it could actually be linkable, okay? So the fourth thing that I want to show you is how to use hyperlinks, okay? So hyperlinks are a good way for you to cite sources in your document, and using hyperlinks is sometimes, for slightly informal documents, is a better way to cite sources as opposed to using formal citation methods, which I would just reserve for research papers and things like that. So using hyperlinks is a good way for you to just sort of add a link to whatever text. So what you do is you find random text in a document that you want. So let's say storytelling with books, data books here. And once you select it, all you do is hit Control K or Command K, and then it will ask you to enter the address. In this case, I'm going to enter the address for my site. There we go. And then I click OK. And once I click OK, as you can see, it becomes a link that you can click, and you can navigate to that site outside your document. But you can also add hyperlinks to the different sections within your document, okay? So remember when I talked about the alternative to adding a table of contents. So if you don't want to add a table of contents, and so let me just go ahead and remove this table, okay, just take away that space. So instead of that table for this particular document, what I chose to do was create this sort of coming up section, which is a version of a table of contents. Just looks a bit leaner and cleaner because, you know, I want a clean document. But yeah, so to do that, again, what you're able to do is And let me just add a different word. Let me add books again. Let me just select it and unbold it. Okay, so if I wanted to add a hyperlink to the books section, what I do again is select the word, hit Command or Control K again, and then instead of web page or file, I go to this document, and then here I'm able to select all the different headings, as you can see, and the heading I want is books. So then I click there and I click OK, and now as you can see it becomes clickable, and when I click that it will take me to the book section. So there you have it. So it's really useful to use hyperlinks and to use a table of contents and to use bookmarks and cross-references for figures and tables to allow you to make your documents a lot easier to navigate throughout. The reason why this is so important to me is because I review a lot of reports very regularly, and when people don't use these things, it's really hard to sort of navigate through the document, especially if someone is telling you, refer to this figure, figure 1, or take a look at this section. When you're trying to refer to different sections of your document, I suggest you just add hyperlinks to those sections so that when I click, it takes me directly where I want to be, and then I can go back and continue reading and so on and so forth. So it's just those little things that make your documents a lot more pleasant to read, because let's face it, reports are terribly boring sometimes. But yes, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone who might be interested in it. Otherwise, those 4 or 5 tips are really useful for you to make your documents a lot easier to navigate through. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.